You were put on this earth to do what you love, to fulfill and use those skills that you were born naturally having, that can then provide for the earth and work together as a collective consciousness with everyone else to form a community. And you were meant to use those skills. You were not put on this earth to suffer and to be miserable. The only reason people suffer and are miserable is because other human beings have allowed their life and their power to get in their brain space, their logical space. And that is why they have created a community where everything is based off of hard work and off of logic and off of masculine energy. And they've forced it so that everyone else has to therefore contribute in this same masculine forced hustling way. And therefore people have lost their heart space, they're receiving their feminine energy, and everyone is just in their headspace all the time in their masculine energy. And people are falling out of love with the world. They're falling out of love with themselves, they're falling out of love with everyone, and their body is physically repelling it all the time. Everyone in this video has been in a situation where their body has physically repelled their circumstances. People become burnt out. They suddenly develop depression. They develop anxiety. These are all ways, likely through relationships, jobs, family members, where your body is physically repelling the situation. And because we have not been taught to love ourselves as much as we should have, we think this is what we deserve. We don't love ourselves and respect ourselves enough to say, okay, my body is telling me to do this and I'm going to respect and listen to that decision that my body doesn't want me to do this, and I'm going to pull away from it. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our intuition, because why would we when our focus is up here in our logical headspace and it's not down here in our heart space, in our intuition? So we ignore it. We don't pay attention to the signs from the universe, from our intuition, from our literal physical being. We ignore that because we don't think that we are as powerful as we are. We think that the external world is right, and the external world is the thing that dictates our entire path. When you're in a job and you are physically repelled and you physically cannot do something, it does not mean that you're not good enough and you're not talented enough, right? Have you seen that video? In fact, there's a video online of a girl and she's doing football, a young girl. She kicks the football, she doesn't kick it. She's like really bad at kicking the football. She walks away and she starts doing handstands and backflips and everything on the school field instead. And it literally says, you are not bad at doing something, you're just doing the wrong thing. It's literally like saying, you know how a fish can swim in water? And if you was to put it outside of the water, it would die. It doesn't mean that, for instance, another animal is unskilled because it can't swim underwater like a fish, and it doesn't mean that a fish is unskilled because it can't walk on the ground like other animals. They're doing the wrong thing. And when you're in university, when you're in school and college and whatever, and you're forced to do certain subjects, maybe more so in school where you have no choice, you're forced to take these certain subjects and then you're graded on them, and therefore you dwell so much on the things that you're not good at that you almost take away your attention from the things that you are good at, because you're constantly trying to improve the area that you're not good at, and you constantly think, this is where I need to base my attention, this is where I need to put all of my eggs, because I need to improve this subject, when you're then neglecting the other subject that you're already good at. Why would you put your attention? Logically, like thinking about it now, knowing what you know now, how silly was it for you to focus on getting better at the things that you weren't good at, rather than becoming a pro, even better at the thing that you are good at, that therefore you are going to fulfill in life. Those are your natural born skills. That is your path that you were born and created to do. But you're focusing on the other path, the path of non-least resistance. This is the path of least resistance. This is the path of non-least resistance. Why would you sit there and focus on that? I I thought I was bad at math anyways. Turns out I'm actually average, so there was nothing for me to worry about there. But I was failing at some point in math in school. I had terrible primary school experiences with my math teachers, and my mum put me in private tutoring for maths, which was really great of her. Like, you know, she supported me and everything. And it's like, I could have spent those extra hours every week. Instead of practicing maths, I could have been doing my art. My textile teacher in college said to me I should go into fashion design because of how good I was at creating clothing and embroidery and applique and all of these things. So I created like corsets and whatever and skirts with my own designs and my own patterns, and I would embroider on the machine. She was like, you should fulfill fashion design. And I said, no, I'm gonna focus on health and social care because I think I want to be a nurse. And I think she still has me on Facebook, so hopefully she's seen the fact that like I'm not a nurse anymore. But I was like, why didn't I listen to that passion of mine? My nan made her own wedding dress and she literally was like, oh, you've got your skills from me. And I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, but like, what the heck am I gonna do with fashion design? Like, are you serious? Like, there's nothing I can do. And everyone said that around me. Everyone around me said that you can't do textiles or designing any kind of way as a job because you would be broke and without a job for years, right? This is what we were taught. So instead I followed my mum's path and I was become a nurse, and lo and behold, 3 years later, I finished my degree and decided I don't want to be a nurse. I mean, don't get me wrong, luckily enough, I'm in a position where nursing knowledge can be applied to the rest of your life, but I still kind of wasted 3 years. And I also got in debt because of student loans and everything. So it's like, is it really worth it? Where could I be today if I did have those extra 3 years on me right now? Obviously, I don't think about that because it's a very negative way of thinking about it, but this is what happens when we steer away from our natural born skills and techniques. And those are the things that we are designed to do. So for instance, I've had many jobs where I was just physically incapable of doing it. I started to develop habits, bad habits that I never even thought I had in me when I was in these jobs. And those bad habits made me think that I was even more incapable, but it was actually my body and my brain actually just physically repelling me from it and almost forcing me to be bad at it so that I would quit it. And I didn't listen to that because this is something I needed. You know, a lot of them were part-time jobs when I was like 16 to 18 in college to try and get me by. And in uni, I used to literally do shifts in A&E when I was in uni. And it got to a point where I had to physically go to the shift and start crying in the toilets at the beginning of the shift for me to decide that I didn't want to do it anymore. But before then, I just kind of sucked it up and was like, yeah, whatever. And it took the point, it shouldn't have to take you to get to breaking point before you decide you actually shouldn't be doing something. Why does it have to get to breaking point when you are physically on this earth to do those natural born skills that you have? No matter what position you're in right now, no matter how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your career, shall we say, because I don't want to say job, I don't want to say lifestyle, it's more of a career that we have. I don't mind where you are in your career right now. Whatever it is, I urge you to sit down and think about what you love. What do you like doing? If you was to sit down this weekend and clear your calendar for 2 days and you said to yourself, I'm gonna sit here and actually do something that I really have been wanting to do for a while, something that you're curious, maybe it's a new skill that you want to learn or a new hobby you want to try, what would that be? What would that be if you had those 3 hours and you weren't gonna let your brain interfere with that? Because whatever you think, those limiting beliefs that you think, maybe I wouldn't be good at it, what if I do fail, those are all your logical brain that we've been taught by society. There is nothing that you should be listening to that is negative. Anything that's negative, you weren't born with. You weren't born with these things of like, what if I'm not good at it? That is just the societal conditioning that we have been given. Don't do something if you're not good at it. Why not? If I don't think I'm going to be good at something, then I know that someone's told me before that I'm not good at something. Do you know what I mean? It's my psychological unconscious programming that's kicking in there. So it's like, you should do it anyways. If your heart is calling you your heart is curious about what this is and what it could be, you need to follow that. That's your intuition already. That is your heart, that is your intuition. Like, just ignore the logical side of your brain. Again, there is a lot of conditioning going up and on in there. 95% of your brain is unconscious thoughts and beliefs. So we will focus on reprogramming reprogramming that later on. I talk about reprogramming and changing your identity, but the very, very first step for you guys is to realize what you love and what you're good at already. So please follow that. Comment down below something that you think you're good at, or you know you're good at, that you have already tried and already done it. Comment down below something that you are good at, and I will reply with something that I think you could therefore do in order to turn that into a career. Off the top of my head, because I don't know everything around here, right? But I'm going to help you by doing this one thing. If you comment down below something that you're good at, or a couple of things that you're good at, I will reply to your comment with something that I think you can do to turn that into a career. And I don't mean a job. We're not out here to create another 9 to 5 for ourselves, guys. We're out here to create a passive princess lifestyle. So therefore, you need to be paid to exist. If you think you have to work hard to get it, then that's the limiting belief up here, remember? So whatever it is you're good at, you can be paid to do that in some way, shape or form. Think about Mrs. Hinch, again, like my other video, who gets paid to clean toilets and talk rubbish to Instagram, and she's got over 1 million followers now. She's made so much money from it, just because she just randomly started making videos, uploading them to Instagram on her stories, and all the other people around the world loved it. They loved what she had to say, they loved her satisfying cleaning videos, but you would never sit there and say to her, that's a skill of yours, you're really good at cleaning toilets and talking, how about you do that for a career? It would never happen. So whatever it is that you think you're good at, there is limitless opportunities. You just need to make yourself aware of them. All right, I hope that video helped you. If you want the one-to-one guidance, remember we have the Passive Princess package down below for those of you that want the one-on-one guidance and you're ready to transcend into that next level version of you that obviously has the life that they want. Other than that, have a lovely, lovely day. Excuse the state of the room. This was like a sudden thing. Like, I was doing my hair and I was like, I need to do this video. Haven't even managed to clean up. It's not even messy. I think I just chucked my coat on the floor and that's it. But yeah, so that's what happens when you have a download and you're like, I need to say this now. Someone needed to hear this. That's why I felt called to do it. But anyways, so have a lovely day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.